Hi, it's Tanya. This is an introduction, really a little bit of intro and info on my mother, Marion Larrigan, or Ma as I call her sometimes, Mum most of the time, and other words are unrepeatable at times. But Mum is on that journey that actually many of us seem to be encountering more and more when I speak to friends and also bumping into other people who you make as friends along the way. Mum is on the dementia journey, vascular, as it happens. This isn't my first encounter with it, it's actually my third. My first was my father, Peter, who had it for quite a long time, and then my auntie, who also had it, and both of them passed with it. And luckily for us, both of them actually we cared for here at home at Maywood. My journey with Mum is so different, which is why I thought I'd do the little intro first before I start putting up clips. She is very complex, and initially she had to go into hospital because we had quite a few episodes towards the end of the discovery of the knowledge that she had the journey of dementia. And the police were involved. And at one point, Mum was chasing me, or rather running away from me, across our fields here at Maywood. Hence the police were involved because also she was trying to climb out of the gates and the fencing. So it really was very hard because it was such a sudden change of character. We'd been ticking along since my dad left us 3 years ago now, 3.5 years. And it seemed okay, but I did know there was something going on. But she refused to get tested. And I'll say to everybody and anybody who will listen, please, if you have any thoughts that you have something going on, get checked. Because firstly, you get into the system, and that is the most important thing, because I can tell you now, you will need the help. For me and Mum, when I finally got her to the doctors, it was only because her legs had started to swell up that I was able to get her to the doctor. And then I was able to bring up in conversation that she was mixing up her words a little bit. And I asked the doctor, could it be due to some little bleeds on the brain? Of which Mum went down the thoughts of, oh, that's possible. So yes, she agreed to having the scan. It's just not actually worth going in saying, hey, Mum, I think you've got dementia, because that would have blown everything. And it had been mentioned a few years ago, in which she just blew up and said, no way, I'm not getting tested, ever. And from that time on, in December when she was diagnosed, in February when she had this massive flip, and it required me to call out the ambulance 3 times in 6 days. And it also incurred her calling the police and telling them that this person who was impersonating her daughter was actually holding her and wouldn't let her away. And not to believe anything this person said, but obviously it's me, her daughter. And the policeman actually said to Mum, can you put me on to the person then, Mrs. Larrigan? And she said, okay, fine. So they just said to me 3 questions, or rather 3 questions. And it was, is this your mother? My reply, yes. Second question, does she have memory problems? Yes, she does. And the third question was, are you having problems? I said, absolutely, yes. To which they said, okay, we've got an ambulance, should be coming, and we have police officers on the way. And that's when the next stage of our journey started. Mum was taken away to the Harvey Hospital, where she actually was kept for 5 weeks. And that's a whole nother journey and a whole nother story, which incurred her trying to smash the windows, trying to jump out, just being so agitated, which you could understand, being kept in a place that was so alien to her, not having the freedom of the farm and the animals around all the time. So from there, she then went to a care home, which was again yet another story for another time. And finally, she ended up with, firstly, a fractured hip, which didn't need surgery. And then a week later, there was an unwitnessed fall, which actually broke some part of the hip area. And 4 days later, she was admitted to hospital. But as I said, this is a whole nother story. From there, she had blood transfusions and surgery and was kept in hospital for 3 weeks. And I've always been trying to get her out of the care home purely because I knew it wasn't suited to her. And I had to say, in this case, the managers were very good and they agreed, having seen Mum at home, because I was trying to get her home to keep her able to associate with former life, really, and not just give in to everything that was happening. And on that time then, from that time rather, I had already made the decision she was coming home. This is all she wanted, was to come home. But I was no way able to, or would be able to manage her at all without help. And fortunately, all the help was put in place. She has care 24/7. She cannot ever be left alone. Every second there is somebody with her for various reasons, from balance issues at times. So again, another time you might look and you think she's absolutely fine. She's not. And then from that, there'll be also other things happening that, you know, she does need help dressing. Give her too many choices and it totally blows her mind and she just throws a fit. The violence has settled, and that's due partly to the meds, but it doesn't stop everything because of the nature of her dementia. So I'm still not Tanya at times. She is still certainly on the downward trail, and she is struggling and she breaks down and she cries. You know, just asking those questions we all say, and she'll say, you know, what is happening to me? Am I going mad? In other times, there is absolutely no comprehension at all of any discussion between us. It is just so many words I can't understand. And then she just gives up. I don't know how long this journey is going to take. And I will certainly share the funny parts, of which there are quite a lot. And you have to see the funny side of life in this, I can tell you. Because otherwise you just put your head in your hands and you would give up and you would cry your eyes out. So there are certainly good days for Mum, and there's certainly some really bad days still, and they will be ongoing. And I have to say that's the same for me. Luckily, I have a lot of animals around. Interestingly enough, the phone tends to stop ringing. And I think other people will actually be in the same boat, because often friends don't know what to say. You know, how can we talk to you? What can we say? Well, it's you ask questions if you want to know the answers. And text isn't always the same. And I've learnt that, actually. I used to text a lot, and then suddenly I thought, damn it, pick up the phone and talk to somebody, because it is important. And particularly if, like me, you're the only, as my mother calls me, her baby, the only baby. There is only me since Dad's gone. So that you know, friends offer to help, and it's great. And you have to be prepared to take the help. And I think it's so easy to say, no, I'm fine. And I'm not one for going around, as friends know me. I am an independent person, and I will get on and do things. I've managed to bleed the radiators today because my pressure was going up in the boiler. So that is waiting for the plumber to come and sort out for me. I've changed the door handle because that broke through Mum opening and closing the door so much that the handle finally gave up and we couldn't even get out the door. And I've done a few other things, and there's a few little bits and pieces going up on social media that will show the funny journey. And I have to say right now I feel pretty rough, and I need to go and have a bit of a pampering time. So I'm going to actually try and book in and get, what's that word? Oh yes, a pamper day, a facial for sure, to try and get everything back in place. Because when you're outside, the majority of the time, of which I am, or then you come into a hot house, because she's cold, or in my house, then I have to go and sort everything out in mine, which is literally next door to Mum, which is great. It's the stress shows, and seeing the pictures from not too long ago. Yeah, I've lost weight again, which I had done when I was caring for my dad and my uncle and my auntie, and Mum was on the downward trail then, but subtly. So it's not easy. So my advice to all of you, if any of you are on any difficult journey, for God's sake, take all help offered. And I am now going to follow my advice and reply to a couple of friends who said, can we come and help? And a few have done. And then I tend to take a pause back and a step back, because I never know what the day is going to bring. You know, so it can be tricky, but hey ho, life goes on. And this, I don't know if you can see this thing here next to me, it's Moose. I brought him all the way back from Colorado when I was teaching over there, doing some clinics at the home ranch with some great people, Ken and Nancy, who were there then. So even my life of travel and holidays has ceased in the last 4 years, well, even 5 years actually. And more recently, I had to cancel all the shows I was planning to go to, a little treat for myself, because I couldn't leave, because of Mum, but also because I've got 2 dogs, a little bit tricky, but lovely dogs, wouldn't change them for the world. One is petrified of thunder and fireworks, so that's one thing on her own, but had her for 9 years now, so totally manageable. But without Mum and Dad there, able to take control if I'm going away working or just for a bit of fun away, it can't happen. That's the way it is. So I have to accommodate life to know things will change eventually, but we have absolutely no idea when. So I'm going to sign off now, and there'll be a fun clip of Mum going up. I don't think I can show the bad times. And yeah, as I said before, I have good times and I have bad times, but there's life goes on. And who knows what stories will come out of all of this. And if you see mess in the background, or you see cobwebs, and you might notice other things in the background, you're not listening to the story. Take care, look after yourselves. Please remember, as everyone says, it's good to talk.